The place, Bank Street Social. The occasion, the DragonHeart end of season party. I'm Mark Griffiths. He's Chay Long. That's Bill Long. And this is DragonHeart. But unfortunately, Neil can't be with us because he's handling some pigs or something.
We miss you, El Porco.
Yes. We've got lots of fantastic guests. This will be a treat for all Wrexham fans and sentient beings. So after this, the DragonHeart end of season awards ceremony.
I'm Aaron Hayden, and this is DragonHeart.
Well, let's start off with proper legends. Don't let the others hear what we're saying there. But, Neil Roberts, Mia Roberts, I mean, it's nice to finally have a league title in your household, isn't it?
Start. Can't wait for this.
Yeah, what a season for you. What a season for the team. And I say for you, as a Wrexham fan and as someone living the dream out on the pitch.
Yeah, it's honestly, like everyone who keeps saying it to me, I find it really difficult to put it into words. I can't. Obviously, like you say, as a player and as a fan, from watching the men's on a Saturday and then, getting up and heading to wherever on the Sunday and pulling that shirt on, it's really special. So I really can't put it into words, to be honest with you, man.
But a picture paints 1,000 words, and your social media is awesome because you are just like what any of us would be, especially the game at the racecourse. I mean, that was just, oh man, you put it beautifully just by us watching it. It was fantastic. Yeah,
obviously I'm very lucky to have a few photos like that in the photo album. So we had to. I think that was one of the photos in the changing room. We said, if we ever get the opportunity, we're going to have to recreate it. And luckily enough, we got the opportunity, and it got a few likes for me as well.
I mean, Neil, you must have lots of photos during your career of you celebrating winning a corner or that sort of stuff.
I didn't know we were going down this road, but let's carry on. Let's crack on.
Every road has a corner.
I don't know what to say to that, Mark, but
sorry, I apologise. You won throw-ins as well. I'm sure you'll assist at some point. I want to get back next year and insulting him all the way. That's why.
I don't mind. No, listen, like for me, I'm obviously, first and foremost, I'm super proud of what Mia's achieving, and I'm again a fan myself now, so I'm on the other side, so to speak, in the stand watching Phil and the team putting on a show as the song goes, and loving every minute.
It must be incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. And what's it like having your dad as an ex-pro? Is it easy to go get advice, or?
I've always, since growing up, as a family, I think we've always all loved football pretty much, and ever since I was little, he's always encouraged me to play. Obviously, I used to play with the boys and stuff because there wasn't too many girls teams. So, but it's great, isn't it? Really being able to have him in picking me up from games and stuff, and being able to say, what did I do well, what did I not do well, But he's not one who shouts at me from the sidelines. He's never been that sort of pushy parent or anything. But no, it's brilliant, and it's top class, really.
It must be brilliant for you as well, because you go to the women's games and you see loads of young girls who, people talk about kids want to emulate the players they see on the pitch, but I've never seen it as clearly as with your team, because the young girls are there. You can feel that sense of, wow, I love these guys. I want to be like them. I want to be doing this here one day. It's so tangible. I mean, that must be brilliant because you're making, you're
what's it like to be a pioneer, basically?
Yeah, exactly.
Every time we play, whether it's at Rose or obviously the racecourse was, unbelievable as well. But there's little girls there and little boys as well. Let's not forget them as well. And they all want a picture or your autograph. And for me, that's something I could never have dreamed of. I know I probably speak on behalf of the other girls as well. But yeah, I think growing up, like I said, there wasn't many people, in my position like I'm lucky enough to be in now. So for me, if I can inspire just one little girl to go, right, I want to play football, then that's job achieved really. That's perfect.
Well, I took my two boys to the game at the racecourse, and you're inspiring the boys as well. Honestly, they loved it. Honestly, yeah.
That's what people need to remember. We're not just doing it for the girls, we're doing it for little boys.
Yeah.
It's kind of mad for us as well, because when I was quite a late bloomer for going to watch football. I was about 15, 16, but when I first started going, you were playing for Wrexham, and now when my nephew Chay's lads are going, first started going, they're watching you play. So
it's nice. I mean, again, we're a footballing family, so my mum used to play, my auntie played, obviously my brother Stephen is quite well known at Wrexham as well for playing here. So, Mia's kind of carried on the tradition of footballers in the family, and it's a big part of our lives. And Wrexham doing well is obviously something that we want to continue, and both the women's and the men's teams have done amazingly well this year.
Well, Neil, I want to ask you a question really. For the American audience and the Canadian audience, what was it like being a player in the seasons for Wrexham you played in really? Like, what was the club like in contrast to now?
Well, I think again, in terms of, first and foremost for me, the football club's always about the people. So whether that be fans, whether it be staff, and whether it be players, and I put players last for a reason, because football club is all about the fans. Secondly, if you can get the right staff in and around that building, and then players, they're the final piece of the jigsaw in many ways, So I think in terms of the contrast from my first period at the club, it's a little bit night and day in terms of investment, but that's clearly obvious for everyone to see. But I think for any new fans watching, especially over in the States or Canada or any other areas of the world, I think the biggest thing for them to understand and know is that the passion, the pride, and the belief has always been there. So it's like that's not new. That's not happened in the last couple of years. And as good as Rob and Ryan have been, they've just given us the opportunity and the platform, really, I think, to now build upon and go to the next step, which was obviously the first one being getting back in the league. So, my first period here was amazing because I went from schoolboy to young professional, and I did 3 or 4 years here before I then moved on to pastures new. My second period, not so good, but again, my return at that time was built on sort of promises made which weren't seen through, kind of guarantees about players staying on and maybe new players coming in. So it's obviously the structure that's in place now, that wouldn't happen, and it can't happen, and it's so amazing for us all as fans to kind of know that we're in safe hands. It's a calming feeling, I think, and I know Mia's similar to me, is that you wake up every day and you think, what's going to be the story today? And I've seen they've put a 5-day plan out. Well, when have we ever had a 5-day plan? We haven't had a 1-day plan, have we? So I just think it's a sign of the times, and there's a real sort of calmness about the place. So for any new fans, get on board and join the ride.
What was it like as a Wrexham lad playing against the likes of Chester and Shrewsbury?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, a lot's made out of that, especially the Chester games for obvious reasons. And Shrewsbury does go a little bit under the radar when Chester's in the conversation, but no, they're both massive games. And again, I think it's one of those that I think there's a lot about self-control being a local lad when you're in those games, because all week, probably 2 weeks leading up to it, you'll get the messages, you'll get the phone calls. Make sure you do this, that, or the other, and again, you have to be careful, because ultimately you want to win the game, you want to get the 3 points, or if you're in a cup game or whatever it is. And thankfully, I think we've been pretty successful over the years, as far back as I can remember, getting either 3 points or through in cup games.
And you were certainly willing to score past them when it needed to be done, weren't you?
Absolutely. And again, probably similar to my daughter, is that made the most of celebrating those.
Mia, I suppose your best chance of playing Chester in the derby is in the European Cup, I suppose, isn't it? Man United will have to be the problem.
Yeah, we'll have to cover that.
I'll tell you what, you said earlier links perfectly, because at the end of each segment we're going to talk about one of the awards that our listeners have been suggesting, and one of them said is the most surprising moment of the season. For me, the biggest surprise is that Danny Davies hasn't been to a game. But like you say, anything can happen. What's been anyone? What's the most surprising thing that's happened?
I think all those offside decisions against Notts County.
Yeah, exactly. The most predictable thing on earth.
No, I think Ben Foster signing.
Yeah.
I think the time he signed, you were really unsure, weren't you, at the time?
No, I wasn't. I was certain he wasn't coming.
Yeah, that has to be. That was, sign a Premier League caliber goalkeeper.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody
who wasn't in the know
Yeah.
really thought it was going to happen, did they?
It was nonsense. I still don't think it has happened. I think
It's all a dream.
Foster imposter, definitely.
For me, I probably got a couple, but I was going to say Luke Young getting dropped and coming out of the team, but I think probably the biggest surprise for me is Paul Mullin not having received a Welsh call up for sure yet, because again, what he's achieved and what he's done in front of the Welsh manager as well, I think he must be at the very forefront of his thoughts, especially given probably the not massive pool of talent in that area as well. He was best player against Coventry on the pitch, he was best player against Sheffield United, two of the informed teams, potentially two Premier League teams next season if Conchi do it, and I think that kind of put himself into the frame to be in at least a training camp. So that was my biggest surprise.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, honestly, I could probably list you about 20 odd, like from women's and men's this is, but I think it's got to be, coming, or the week before the racecourse, seeing what the ticket figures are up to, like that for me was just, I think there was a lot of chat beforehand, and I know you were quite
I was
very confident about telling me we were going to hit the record, and I was saying no, don't be ridiculous.
Probably because I didn't want you to get stage fright.
Yeah, I was like, don't get my hopes up. But seeing when it hit that 9k, and then I think I was warming up at the time when they announced that it hit. The attendance was 9.5, I think it was. And I remember just looking at the board thinking, oh my god, like I was here at the men's game when it was that the other week, do you know what I mean? So that for me, I think that made my head fall off a bit, to be honest with you.
Like, how did that feel walking out? You give it all up, didn't you, when you came on there? You've got it, if I was ever in a position to play on the racecourse, even if it was in one of those corporate games, I'd be giving it all the thing with no crowd, but...
Obviously, happen again, but you never know, do you? You don't know if that'll be your last opportunity. So I think
I don't think you got to worry about that.
You grabbed your moment, didn't you? I was super proud because I was like, yes. You've come on, you've got 15 minutes left, and that is like. I was thinking to myself, how she going to approach it? She could be a little bit nervous, timid, and probably the best thing ever. Because the crowd then went, boom.
Yeah.
Come on, so it was amazing. One I'll never forget.
Or I'd have to say the bus parade was unbelievable. Like I think surprise is one word for it in a way. When you came around that corner and there was just more people, because at every turn there was just thousands and thousands of fans, and that, like, obviously another surprise was Rob and Ryan actually being on our bus. So
that looked very much like the party bus from my perspective, I've got to say. I think we got a winner there. I think you're right. 40,000 people coming to Wrexham to celebrate that, and the way it all kicked off. We all thought it'd be amazing beforehand, but it massively exceeded that. I think that's the winner. Do you think?
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, I'll take another loser's medal.
Well, I like your insatiable winning attitude. That's exactly what we want to see. Can we just say thank you so much for all, Mia first, for all that you've done this season, because you've done so much, not only to bring success on the pitch, but also to add to that fantastic integration between community and the team. And Neil as well, thank you so much.
That's a pleasure.
For winning that corner back in 2000.
That we probably scored from, so I'll get an assist, wouldn't I?
Absolutely, yeah. Some of us fans got it in the away end of each other's stadium, didn't we?
I prefer the days prior. I prefer the first spell.
Fair point. Well, thank you both so much. That was
Thank you.
fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Dominic Vose and this is DragonHeart.
Well, we're now joined by the three-headed media beast that is Rob Stead, Tomi Caws and Amy Davies. And obviously the first question, Tommy, your haircut, why?
Question mark.
This is just minimalist, this is, mate. It doesn't get any longer or shorter.
From KFC.
Hey, thank you very much. As you can see from me, I have been a lot closer to him. From a media point of view, because I have a funny feeling Tommy might win that battle if I take it any further. I mean, first time for everything. I mean, it's just been ludicrous from all your perspectives, surely, to share a season like this. I mean, from the inside, incredible.
Oh, it's been amazing, hasn't it? Like, just to be a part of it, it's been like, honestly, there's no words that you can put into it of how amazing it's been all season to experience everything that's happened. I suppose you watch it from a different point of view as well, don't you? So me and Rob are like at the side of the pitch, and then Tommy is more from up the stands. So it's like, it's interesting to hear other people's points of view, I think.
I just feel like we've come a long way as a club and a fan base from Mahita Malongo clearing the cop with a shot from 10 yards out. So I think sorry, Robbo's not happy in the back there. But no, it has been absolutely incredible, and just, do you know what, I feel so privileged to be able to sort of, you know, do the job I do as a fan as well. It's just absolutely incredible. Having said that, I look over at the tech end from the press box and think, oh, I wish I was over there. I really do.
Yeah, because I think when you work in it, like, everyone's like, oh, did you see that pass that he did? I'm like, literally, no, you can't. Like, I don't know if it's the same for you, Rob, you can't, like, focus on the actual football, like, because we're just following the ball to wait for something to happen. So, like, if someone scores and then we filmed it or photographed it, it's, like, really hard to... When I'm editing, that's when I watch the game back.
I was going to ask you, do you actually remember anything of the game because you're so focused on the job?
No, not really, because you see when you're capturing the ball as it goes in, and you're kind of just waiting for the crowd
and then you're like,
to roar, and then...
But you have to turn to the fans, or are they going to come towards me? Is it in focus? So there's like so many things to think about. But like, I like watching it on telly, so like when we've got away games, that's when I can relax and enjoy it, you know, the games that I don't go to. So like, but obviously I love my job and I feel really lucky to go through the journey of what we've been through I've been there 2 years, so yeah, it's hard to put into words, I think.
But like you say, that the point of release and excitement when we score is the point when you two have got to be the most clear-headed and not excited, isn't it? To make sure you get your job done.
I sometimes do like a little fist bump just before, like with the hand that I don't film on. I just try and get it in. But yeah, no, it's really hard. And then like you do want to celebrate with the fans, but then you get the adrenaline and the emotion through when we score, through filming the emotions of the fans. You sort of feel it that way, but have to sort of cope with it a different way, don't you, I guess?
And just the privilege to be where we're actually sat in front of the fans. You can almost feel what the players are feeling. That roar that just comes out is just incredible.
Yeah, there's the sound, like, I remember that when I first did it, like, you don't realise how loud it is when you're in there. Obviously when you see it on telly, but like, yeah, it's just mad.
I gotta say as well, just like, you know, you guys do an absolutely incredible job, and this is the one and only time you'll ever hear me praising Amy for anything. but no, they do they do an unbelievable job, and you know, just you know, on Twitter, I think we're all as fans, aren't we? We're sort of waiting for that AAA to drop like the next day, and it just captures just that moment just perfectly, and you know, it really is an underrated job that you guys do. I really mean that, you know.
It's really humbling for me to see, because I didn't realise when I first started doing it how much recognition and how much people would love watching it. So like, it's so humbling receiving like positive comments from fans and seeing how.
Yeah, it's a weird experience that. I mean, I've only been doing DragonHeart like a year or so, and then I do the away commentaries. I mean, I get the best of both worlds. So I got a season ticket, so I do get to sit in the tech end and and then do the away commentaries. But I was going to say, like, I don't remember the home games for different reasons, not because, not because I'm filming it or anything. But it's been a weird experience, isn't it? Having like contact from people from America and other places, just even just interacting with you. Like, I'm just some loser that watches the football, you know. Like, that's...
I'll second that.
How has it been? Because obviously you film a lot. How has it been for you? Like, that's your work, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's your job. It's
no, like, you take a lot of pride in your work and stuff. So like, there's so many amazing comments, and then like sometimes there is like the odd comment that's like, oh, why is that like that? Why is there no music there? Or you could have put music to make it. And then I'm like, no, how can, like, because I'm always trying to make it better and thinking, you know, getting inspiration from other people who do similar jobs to me and trying to make it, you know, go that one step further. And how can I provide more with what I do? But like, in terms of the feedback, it's honestly like I've never had anything like it on anything. Like, it's so amazing to receive the feedback and to know that people are enjoying watching them.
yeah.
I mean, I see. I'm quite happy if people criticise me on Twitter because it's almost always. It's not constructive. It's just correct. But I just think that you guys are doing more of an artistic thing, and so to criticise you for not putting music in there is like, you know, if they had Twitter in the old days, they'd be asking Da Vinci why he didn't put a second nose on Christ. You know, but I mean,
that's the weirdest criticism on Twitter.
well, to be fair, but am I wrong? Thank you. But I mean, Tommy, of course, you watch out for a really smooth link. You paint pictures with words. Right, yeah. Is any particular point in the press box that has stood out for you this season, apart from the rare occasions you get to meet me?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I always come over to see what pies you're eating. But no, yeah. I always ask, what pies you having today, Mark? He just says 7. That's what
always a numerical answer.
But no. I tell you, the one that sticks out, Mark, I've got to say, is Coventry away. Obviously, I think we scored to go 2-0 up, if memory serves, and I think it was the Elliott Lee goal. I think. Anyway, I'd had a few beers, Amy, as always. But yeah. And yes, I just got up, and just emotion takes over. You know, you're supposed to be doing a job, but you're a fan as well. So you're celebrating. You know what it's like. You guys know what it's like. You get up, you punch in the air. I just heard a voice. You do that again, mate, I'm going to knock you out. That's a Coventry accent. That's a genuine Coventry accent. but yeah, that's that was all right.
I know.
That was all right.
It was like Jimmy Hill never died.
But yeah, that was probably the standout one. But to be honest, it was great. Just when we won the league, I was sort of looking, and I was sat by Rich, the leader all season, who's an absolute top bloke and a massive Wrexham fan as well. And it was great to share a moment like that, winning the league with Rich as well, and some of the other guys as well. People like the other Rich from the Athletic as well has just jumped on board, but he's become a big Wrexham fan as well. So yeah, just great to share moments like that, really.
Going back to that video though, the moment, there's a video as well, isn't there? Of you jumping up, and then you can see the fans chanting it around like, what? It's so funny.
That's a bit like our olden moments.
Oh God, yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Well, we scored the penalty in the last minute, and then some guy just was saying all sorts of things about Welsh people, wasn't he? And then decided to scream at Mark's laptop, didn't he?
Yeah. It was really weird. Exactly. I'm shocked too. But
he was shouting at things all throughout the match. But the thing is, the Oldham, the commentators were here, and the fans were literally there, weren't they? So I thought we were going to get punched in the head at one point, but it was great.
When I had trouble with the away fans, because I always get nervous being in front of them, because they do shout stuff, because we're like sat like, right, well, you're in with the crowd, aren't you? But we've got sometimes, and then one of them like said, I think don't know if you're going to put this in, but he said something, he kept shouting, and then I was like, I turned around and I like laughed in his face in a really stupid way, like like that.
That is stupid.
And then he just goes, oh, well, at least I'm not on OnlyFans. And I just looked at him like, well, first of all, let me clarify, I'm not on OnlyFans. I was like, what? Like, what sort of...
What the hell am I paying £9 a month for then?
You get it for £9.
It was a guess. It was a guess.
That was one of the other ones you paid for. And yeah, I just thought it was absolutely ridiculous. And cut.
You know, I always felt that the main purpose of DragonHeart was to ruin marriages, and now we're getting there. Yeah, that Oldham bloke, there was like, we were slightly higher up, weren't we? So his head was sort of that level, walking past, and for some reason, rather than shout at us, he stopped behind my laptop, like that was a microphone, which might suggest why Oldham fans are so angry, because they got so far behind. You know, there's still 1970s there or something. Not that I dislike Oldham in any way, sorry guys. But he just shouting abuse into the back of the the laptop, didn't he? Yeah. God bless him.
I tell you what though, Mark, it's times like those where you want an MMA fighter in your corner.
Hey. Yeah.
Ex-MMA fighter.
And I'll just leave it there that the one time I've actually had to get physical with somebody in a press box was, what's his name, Beckford's dad. Not the Leeds lad, his dad. What was his first name? The big, yeah. Yeah, we had an argument over a team sheet. And we had a weird sort of wrestling match while I kept commentating. I had a co-commentator with me who, for some reason, you know, when you sort of spot the signs that maybe you should step in because the commentator is doing something like making a note or fighting a bloke, and he didn't step in at all. So I was there sort of going, yeah, and it's Sam Williams on the flank, and it was great fun. Exactly right. Yeah. Moment of the season, having talked about outstanding things, I thought beforehand everyone's just going to say Ben Foster's save against Notts County, and it turns out everyone disagrees with me. Yeah. So, moment of the season, anybody?
I'm going to go for the infamous sun picture. What that
for the moment of that whole backlash that you had a few weeks later.
All of it. Just, you're not expecting the players to just come right at you in your lens, and then just everything after that. 10.1 million views on Twitter already. Everything that happened after that, obviously with Sharp as well.
What a top bloke he is.
Lovely.
Yeah, no, I think that's my personal moment of the season.
I got to say, I'd love Parky to sign him and put him in the reserves next year. Fantastic.
Moment of the season?
That Oldham penalty. I really love that. Yeah. That was the moment I thought, yeah, we're going to win the league. Because we played awful throughout the whole game, had 2 opportunities in the last 10 minutes and scored, and I thought, this side's too good not to go out.
You just love the Oldham game because that man shouted at us and because you got a free pie.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's up there, yeah.
I'm still going for Ben Foster because, it was good, that.
It's a tough one. Sam O'Connor's goal at Coventry for me, because that was a real, we're the real deal sort of moment. That was incredible. And I think the sellout women's game as well, just because that was, in another way, that's like, this is the real deal. This is all, we've had a lot of false dawns at Wrexham, but I think it's going to be good for a couple of years, isn't it, at least?
False dawn, please. False 9 for Donskey, match women's. Worth a try. They don't always land.
One out of 10, Mark.
Thank you very much. Like I say, everything's numerical. A 1's better than nothing. Any other suggestions or moments of the season?
I think for me personally, because I think as a football player you can have loads of seasons, like Sheffield, Coventry, but like going into the changing rooms after that final game and getting the emotions of the players, and that was just a whirlwind of a moment, just you knew how much it meant, and then Parky walking in and I'm soaking him, and it's just like, because you were in there, Rob, as well, weren't you? And it's just, like you're like, oh my god, it's actually happened, because you never wanted, like before that game we were all talking about it, but no one wanted to say, did they, like, oh my god, it's gonna happen, like, oh my god, but what if it doesn't happen? And it's really like, it's just like, yeah, that moment for me, I think it's it, even though my camera is covered in beer.
So the low consensus, which shows that democracy doesn't work.
It's Ben Foster then, is it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I've got to be really
Getting
obvious.
told off
I've got to be
all
really obvious and say it has to be the Ben Foster save. It just has to be. You know, it's been just an unbelievable season from start to finish. You know, really has. But that was just so special. And you know, people say, you know, you can't write it, and it is true, isn't it? It's like, it's ridiculous, it's so far-fetched. You know, he comes back after 16, 17 years away, saves a penalty in the last minute to essentially win us the league. Absolutely incredible. I think it has to be that, doesn't it?
And there was that clip from just before he retired where he said, "Oh, if I was gonna have one more moment, that it was." He described basically what happened, didn't he? And that's just like. It encapsulates it all.
The perfect penalty save one.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's the 98th minute.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Crazy.
From Edwin Scott, he hates him that much that he was trolling him. He's going to drop into his league.
I mean, the name
Yeah.
sounds like one of my Tides mates. You know? sounds like a mayor of Cloth Madog or something.
That bombshell. Well, look, it's fantastic. The work that you do, all of you, is fantastic. Rob and Amy, what you do for the club is astonishing, and the output that we have and the quality of it is brilliant. And you know, Tommy, I quite like your food reviews.
I mentioned for Lloyd and Gemma as well. Just
Yes, oh gosh,
how
yeah.
lucky we have to have 3 different styles of photography.
Are they doing food reviews now as well?
But no, we're lucky to have people of your calibre who are working at the club or reporting on the club to keep everybody so informed. So thanks for joining us, and thank you very, very much.
I'm Liam McClendon and this is DragonHeart.
So we will be having the Goal of the Season competition launched in a couple of days as well. It's been a heck of a job making the shortlist, which is why, thanks to Bill's genius idea, we're going to have 32 teams in it. We're going to have a Goal World Cup.
32 teams?
Goals.
Yeah.
I see, I'm already confused by it all.
We've scored past more than 32 teams this season.
We have,
so
we scored 140 goals. It was, you know, I thought it'd be fun watching them all again and ranking them, but I can't close my eyes now without seeing, you know, sort of like Luke Young score or something. So we've got a 32. All the voting will be done on the club's Twitter account, and there are some absolutely fantastic goals from the women's team and the under-19s team, as well as the men's teams, because we are one club. And, well, who better to talk about all of that than the big bosses of the women's side, Gemma Owen, Gareth Owen, and not Steve Wade. I'm absolutely determined, Steve Wade, our physio in the 90s. And for some reason I got some weird fixation where Dale, I always call you Steve Wade, and I'm keeping doing it. And now on our running order I've even done it on paper.
Me and Chay have been wondering all week, who's Steve Wade? I don't want to ask because I'd be embarrassed in case it's just some member of staff I'm forgetting.
Exactly. But I mean, obvious first point. My God, what a year! I mean, honestly, incredible for you all.
Yeah, it's I mean, going into if we think about last season, and when Steve came into post. And we went on the run that we did, which was absolutely fantastic. And to go down to the last game of the season and to just miss out in the manner that we did was, you know, something to be extremely proud of in terms of the run we went on. But just the disappointment of that and how we felt and how the girls felt, how the staff felt right at the end, that we were determined as a group of staff and players to not repeat that, and to learn from that, build on top of that, and to go one better than what we did last season. We've gone one better and then some this season, so yeah, it was really, really incredible and very, very proud season for us all.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously as Jem's just said, when the full-time whistle went, it landed, knowing you you know, we were so close to winning it on the run that we went. You know, seeing your rivals lifting a title in front of you, it does sort of spur you on a little bit, and you could see that hunger in the dressing room after the final whistle. And you know, we drummed that message in throughout the pre-season that, you know, if we want to get there next year, then that the hard work starts now. And then, you know, you've got to give the girls a lot of credit for the way that they've carried themselves this season, and they've obviously done what we've set out to achieve, and we've got over the line and got to the promised land where we want to be.
You often see teams, don't you, who are used to dominating, they're the best team in their league, and then when you put them in a situation, you might say Real Madrid at Man City, for example, where they've got to really try and dig in and survive and earn a result, it's not natural for them and they struggle with it. But then in that playoff game, because Britain Ferry played well, had a lot of the ball, took the game to us, they showed they had that character as well. It's not just that we can go at teams and we've got goal power, although we have. We've got the character to dig in, to fight when we haven't got the ball, and then to be able to strike decisively. And in many ways, that must have been, for a manager, such a satisfying sort of way to win it.
Absolutely. You know, the resilience that the girls showed that day was impressive, because Britain Ferry are probably one of the best teams that we played all last season, and you know, I think that they'll go again next year, and it wouldn't surprise me if they got over the line next season with the quality that they've got. And I think the way that we soaked up the pressure and obviously took the chance that we needed when we took it was sort of, you know, testaments to the girls really, and the, you know, individual performances on that day in the back four, and obviously with Dale in goal as well, was a true testament, because our defensive record this season had improved massively. We'd shipped a lot of goals last season, and very sloppy goals, and to only concede 6 this season in the league is just, you know, shows how far we've come.
And then, Gareth, I mean, your responsibility for the under-19s, ironically, it's so well embedded. You know, football clubs always talk about having a vision and a purpose and a pathway up from the youth teams, and ironically, you guys have done it so well that you lost half your players for your cup final, which seems a bit harsh. You've done your job so well, you can't have half your players now. But that game was, I mean, I that sounds stupid, especially this season of all seasons. I don't remember when I've commentated a game and enjoyed it so much. I felt such pride in a Wrexham team, because this was the side that were missing players. We're clearly playing against a side that had an awful lot of experience and an awful lot of resources behind it. You could see their quality, and we again earned our right to be in that game. And I think with a little bit more rub of the green, we'd have actually won it, I would argue.
Yeah, really proud first of all that the girls competed so well as the squad that they were. Yes, we were players down, but it gave the opportunity to players to come in and stake their own claim, I suppose, and play in a national final for the second year. Some of them, it was tough to take last year, 5-1 defeat against Cardiff. It was tight until half time, and then I think we tired probably after about an hour. But then this year, yeah, a lot closer in terms of a game. So it was always our, you know, vision as staff that we do try and close that gap. Those Cardiff players, I suppose, that play in the Welsh Prem, young players that play in the Welsh Prem, probably gave them the edge this year. And it's our job now, especially me and Gemma with the 19s, to keep giving Steve as many problems as possible in the first team, and we'll push these girls on and make sure that they're competing week in, week out, and pushing those first team girls.
But again, I mean, sorry, Jake on.
Well, I was just asking, was that frustrating at the time to have both the finals at the same day? Was it a huge inconvenience? Surely that would have been.
Yeah, it was deeply frustrating. We obviously did explain the situation we found ourselves in, because it did only affect us. It didn't affect any other team that was involved in the finals that day. But saying that, what it allowed us to do and what it allowed our players to do is maybe those that wouldn't maybe have featured as much, or would have got less game time, it gave them an opportunity to go and show what they could do. And I honestly believe that they went and did that. They did, myself and Gaz and the staff as a whole, they did us so proud that day, because they went out and competed, as you rightly say, Mark, against a very, very good side with players missing, with our players missing, and they still went out there and got what I thought was a very credible result. And as you say, on another day, I honestly believe that we could have gone and won that game. So yeah, it was highly frustrating. To be honest, it was. But I still think that it just showed a different side, and it showed the character of the group that we were working with, which we've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed all season, to be honest.
I'm lining up, as you two both know, a huge rant about the Welsh FA's role in development of women's football, which I will do when none of you are anywhere near me, so you can't be implicated. But it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. And I will say as well, although I don't want to keep banging on about how you were robbed, but I mean, Sue Ann getting clobbered like that, you've got only 3 subs. One of them's a goalkeeper, the other 2 defenders, so there's no scope to freshen the tiring team up, no scope to replace like for like when your top goal scorer has to go off injured. I loved every element about that game except the actual results. I just thought it was magnificent. I don't think any Wrexham fan watching that would feel ludicrous amount of pride, as they must do, about just the entire situation. It must be thrilling, the buzz around the women's team. I mean, that attendance at the racecourse, it's more than twice, not just any women's match in Wales, but any men's league match in Wales, apart from games in the English system. I mean, we realistically, if the Welsh FA are smart enough to catch on to this, could be the first country in Europe really where the men's league is not as anywhere near as prestigious as the women's league, I would argue.
Yeah, that game on that day, I mean, to talk about the build-up to that game, when we were given the go-ahead to do it, initially we were, can we wait until after we've played Brill? Because I think playing Connah's Quay on that environment, on that stage, with a title still in the balance, we felt that we didn't want to put that kind of pressure on the players. So it's like, look, can we just hold off and see how we do against Brill first? And then obviously we went and beat Brill. And then it was like, right, okay, we'll go ahead, we'll go all guns blazing on this now. And then the first thing we wanted to do was there was a target to aim for, which was the current domestic record. Not the use of aim to go for records, but it just gave us somewhere to aim towards. Playing against the Quay in a league game, if there was going to be any other game we played on the racecourse, it would have been that one, because Connah's Quay have done so well this season, and we were neck and neck, very much like the men's team and Notts County all season. So when we were starting to push the game, then obviously we were champions at that point. So it just all sort of lended itself to everything else, and it just all came together really, really nicely, and it went past the 5,000, it went past the record, and I'm saying, well, can we keep going? And the club were like, well, if you can get the interest and if you can sell them, we'll keep opening bits of the ground, we'll keep going. And in all credit to the club there, they honoured that to the point where we nearly sold out. So I think to have a game of that nature, the fact that it was against our closest league rivals at the time, to see all of those people that came to watch us and came out and supported us, it goes to show the appetite for women's and girls football that there is in North Wales. But not only that, I think somebody touched on it before, I think it was Mia, where she was on about little boys coming to watch. Now, I only said this to someone the other day, that we've had to work hard and continue to work hard to show boys that girls can play football, and it's something that we've sort of battled against for many, many years. Or girls can't play football, they can't come and play with us on the playground, and I don't mean to say that's with everybody, but it was certainly an issue. But that game, and bringing your young son to come and watch those kind of games, that makes women's football and girls football normal. And then it becomes a point where it's not a thing, it's just someone playing football. And I think that game went a long way towards that, which was pretty special.
What was really nice for us, like me and Chay brothers, like we went with my nan and my cousin who's younger, she's about 14, and Chay's 2 younger lads. Like actually, like my nan who's nearly 80 was the one who's been like, I'm not really sure about going to a women's game, not in a funny way, but obviously she's just a bit older, she's not used to watching women's football and stuff, and actually she came away saying, oh, it was really good. Oh, I'd go to that again, and and hopefully Chay's lads grow up, and it's we're going to watch Wrexham on Saturday or Sunday this week.
Both my boys said they went to watch the football, didn't say women's football.
Yeah.
They said, we had to go to the football, and they were they're only very little, but they were just buzzing to see goals, and they were buzzing to see the players running around. They didn't really care if it was a man or a woman.
That's the nicest thing about it as well, is that a lot of kids, especially after that game, they just see the kit, they see the badge, they see the club, they don't see the men's side or the women's side, and that's a really special thing. But going back to what you were saying then about families coming to watch. Now I know a lot of families go to watch the men's game, but what was lovely was there were so many people there that day who might not have been to watch a game before, they might not have watched women's football before, but it was a family occasion and a family outing, and I thought that was lovely, that we were bringing people together, which I thought was really special too. I use the word special a lot, but there were a lot of special moments about that day, and those were definitely some of them.
Yeah, my wife got a block of 20 and just took loads of mates, and I think only one of them or two of them had been to a football match before. They all absolutely loved it. It was a fantastic day, but also a bugbear of mine is the way that some coverage almost implies it's not real competitive football. Like my big issue, I've ranted every week about this, S4C interviewing people during matches when you're watching the football to see what happens. If they did that in a men's match, they'd be chaos. They'd go nuts. And yet they do that quite happily in each one. In fact, my wife, a Welsh speaker, was waiting for them to come to her in the stand in the playoff so she could go live on S4C to say, why the hell are you interviewing me in Welsh when you should be showing the match? And they missed one of Dell's saves because they were interviewing people in the crowd. But it ran over. Oh yeah,
I really enjoyed the demographic of the crowd. I really did. All the families, the little kids. I feel really comfortable bringing my young family to a football match where some men's games I wouldn't. So I'm really looking forward to next season. And on next season, what are the challenges for next season there?
Well,
I'll take this one,
obviously we know that the challenge is going to be difficult for us, but this is what we've worked towards for since we reformed in 2018, was it? Yeah, so it was always an ambition of ours to get a group of players together that love playing for the badge and obviously can be competitive. We've done well over 2 seasons now, and we had a couple of good successes in the cup against some higher opposition. So we know eyes are going to be on us now. There's going to be a lot of pressure, but for us it's about embracing that and relishing that challenge to become competitive in the league above and build on our success of what we've done so far. So we're all excited, we're all looking forward to it, but we obviously want to be as successful as we can going forward.
What's great for us as fans is we're finally going to be able to play Cardiff and Swansea again, which has been a long time since Wrexham have played those teams, isn't it? I'm really looking forward to watching those games, definitely. Hopefully we can do some coverage.
Well, that'd be a lovely idea, but absolutely, 100%. And I mean, Gareth, I know you used to enjoy putting Cardiff and Swansea to the sword. I seem to remember you scoring against Swansea from about 6 miles out in a different postcode.
Good days.
Nice to see the girls doing it now as well. Well, I'll tell you what, I think I speak for every Wrexham fan in saying that what you have done has enhanced our enjoyment of the club, has enhanced our enjoyment of our weekends, to see the women's teams doing so brilliantly, and to give us more heroes and heroines is always a good thing as far as I'm concerned. So
I'm not sure the missus is going to be happy that I'm going to be away on a Saturday and a Sunday from now on rather than just a Saturday. I'll bring her on a Sunday. She can come to the women's game. She enjoys that more than the men's. So.
Absolutely.
I'm really looking forward to taking my kids next season. Really looking forward to it.
Brilliant.
Thank you guys for your support as well. Obviously, they're going the way forward that we are going. We are going to rely and need on the support that we've got already, but we'll be looking to build on that as well. And involving us in podcasts such as this, I think, is is really important to us as a group of staff, certainly a group of players. So we really appreciate what you're doing as well. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you put your foot in it now, you'll be on every week. Honestly, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to get the three of you together and get your shared perspective. Absolutely fantastic. Well, thank you for all you do for the club, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Nice one.
Thank you. Cheers.
I'm Luke Young, and this is DragonHeart.
Right, we've saved the terrifying till last. So the man himself, Mike the ref, the man who enlivens every commentary that we have. We do have, but I'm not going to embarrass him, his VAR man in the corner. He's in the back of this place at Stockley Park, and he's ready. If Mike says anything that's wrong, he's going to jack swing and be on him like that. And also we have, the man himself from Bank Street Social itself, Phil Gallanders, who's a big Wrexham fan, and we thought, let's wrap it up by saying thank you to you for hosting us.
That's okay, pleasure to have you.
Absolutely fantastic to be here, it really, really is. And also to... I didn't mean it that much, but okay. And also, Phil, to just ask you first, what an experience this season has been. And it must have been fantastic for you here as well, because I'm sure you're getting an awful lot of American customers all of a sudden.
Yeah, for sure. So like match days now, we're regularly getting 20 odd different Americans coming in, even non-match days. And just generally, just it's been nice to talk a lot. Basically, we're a bit of a talking shop for football, and it's good that it's almost become inescapable, which is quite nice. But yeah, no, it was quite often we have our regulars, so I guarantee after every match the next morning it's going to be like, did you watch the match? What do you think this week? There's always lots of talking points. So yeah, no, it's an old adage that when the football team's doing well, the town does well, and it's been quite surreal getting used to, but it's great, it's exciting.
It is. It's amazing, isn't it? And Mike, you've been the sort of the fifth Beatle of our commentaries.
Yes, I am. I feel like the Pete Best.
So, for anyone watching who doesn't realise, Mike's a qualified ref.
Yes.
You were on a previous DragonHeart talking about how you corruptly gave a penalty to
yes.
in a pre-season match. It was probably the best story I've ever been told.
Which is cracking interviews as well.
But the thing that you've done so beautifully for us is that you will text us messages, as you're also goes a refereeing assessor.
Yes.
When we are commentating, you're sending us messages on what you think about refereeing decisions,
yes.
which is brilliant. The feature probably of the commentary that people love the most. And when we were asking people this week, about what they like about the commentaries, you featured very heavily. Because you are brilliant in the way that you do it.
Thank you.
And also, you have a hell of a sense of humour about you as well, so in a sense you add it in as well.
Yeah. I've got to say that as well, that I love when we do the commentary, that when all the mics are off, there's been a decision that obviously we maybe can't talk about as in-depth in air because you don't want to get in trouble. So it's like, Mark, give Mike the ref a message.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, he'll pick it up and ask Chay a few times. Ask Mike, and I'm kind of got my when I'm assessing. I assess in England. So when Wrexham were playing ridiculous away in all those London teams, I'd have my headphones on, listening to your commentary, assessing the referee, but trying to text you, work out what's going on at the same time, and we're trying to decipher what decision's been made without actually seeing it.
Yeah. Like so in the National League.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't go there.
But it does enliven things so much, doesn't it? And straightens us out when we clearly don't know the rules.
I love when you make Mark wrong.
Yeah.
You are very adamant on your decisions sometimes.
Oh gosh, yeah, I won't have anyone question my authority. But I'm often wrong.
Only the ref.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Mike's the one.
The referee then.
Yeah, exactly. I have no game management whatsoever. No question about it. But I mean, it must be frustrating for you when you watch games.
Well, especially I see the assistants because I'm in the Macron stand, as you know, but I'm row H, so the eight bits up, and the assistant liner our side is normally a nightmare. I'll say the referee standard this season has probably improved slightly. I think a lot of referees who came last year came this year and know what to expect. And plus I think the discipline of the team has helped, because this year they don't, well, the fair play shows it, doesn't it? They don't get involved with the referees, and referees love a bit of confrontation. They love having to make a decision, and in the National League, referees are one step away from the EFL, and that is the holy grail as a referee. So you've got that pool of referees, there's 24 referees or how many, all battling for the assessor's marks, and they're assessed. The more difficult the game, the higher the mark they can get. So I think I sent you some marking schemes before. So
sorry, so sort of a referee in, say, the Wrexham Notts County game, instead of, I don't know, a game at the beginning of the season like Wrexham Eastleigh, they'll get more points for the Notts County game then.
So it's how difficult the Notts County game would have been a difficult game as a referee, but it's subjective. So any game could be difficult to referee. For example, if you get like the teams that come who waste time and like sort of like Woking who sit on the ball, they're difficult to manage. So what the assessor does is he rates the game. Is it a very difficult? No. And then what that does, it opens. If it's a very difficult game, it opens up a higher. It can open up a higher mark. So normally a referee on a normal standard game, say that Wrexham against Barnet or 1-6-0, it's an easy game to referee. If the referee doesn't make the mistake, you get an 8.4. That's the maximum mark you can get. But if it's a difficult game like Notts County, he can go up to the assessor can go up to a 9.
Okay, right.
So
then like a derby game that's quite heated, they're going to get more for it. Yeah.
So then the average mark, the top so many referees will move to the EFL. The bottom so will go down to the Conference National North or South. And at the end of the season, because I assess our North West counties and all the Premier League, the assessor marks are calculated, and there's a relegation promotion for referees on that basis. And some referees will be controversial to make the game difficult and bring it back. I know, because I did it.
Does explain a lot, that though, to be fair, yeah.
When does your autobiography come out, exactly? But it's great to get your perspective, and I got to be honest as well. It's great when I see something and I'm angry, and then you back me up. That really feels good.
Sure, because I've got in the habit of as well is I'll be out with the dogs on when you release the commentary. Because if I'm at the home game, I don't hear your commentary, or if I'm at the game, I don't hear it. So what I do is I genuinely listen to it, and I know I've texted Mark a few times and messaged him and said, "Oh, by the way, this, that, the other on the comment," or you might, it's like I think I want to do a piece on offside as well and explain that to the American audience, and then the finer points of the laws of the game as they're known.
I always thought offside was fairly straightforward until I watched Match of Day last Saturday, and the Liverpool goal was really sort of blew my mind a little bit. I don't know, but I mean, I've got to say as well, Phil. I mean, I said to you last week, my clearest memory of the final whistle in Boreham Wood was turning, and I kept seeing you in the seats just to the left of us, just with the most happiest looking face I've ever seen in my life. You were loving that moment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it was weird. I was saying last week as well that I kind of felt like I kind of felt quite underwhelmed in that. I kind of almost half expected it, which is a real privileged thing to say. But I kind of felt like I'd used all of my emotional outburst at Notts County, so obviously with that still being fresh in the mind, and even again, a goal after 43 seconds when we conceded, and it was quite surreal, because I think there was a lot of people, I think half the crowd even noticed, and it was only looking at the scoreboard we go, because there was no, but even then you kind of felt, yeah, of course we've gone down 1-0, but we'll win this 2 or 3-1.
It just felt like the game, didn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, no, it's one of them things you'll never forget. It was amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so from a personal point of view, what's your guys' favourite moments of the season? So we'll start with you, Mike.
I think, without sounding corny, it's most home games because I live away from Wrexham now, live in Oldham, and I'll try and hunt that guy down who shouted at you. And I will show him the red card. And I will expect a 9 off the assessor mark.
Absolutely.
But I say, without sounding corny, it's because I sit with Jack who's my sister, my fam. I give my mum a lift to the game, who pops and says hello. It's every home game to me is important because I'm spending time with my family. Yeah. So that's a personal moment for me, but I think as well, seeing Jack's face when we won the league, he goes on the pitch, and you kind of got that ecstatic look. I come up and said hello to you guys, and like, what do? It's like you want to celebrate with everybody. So I think the moment of the season is when that final whistle goes, and we all pile on the pitch, and the smoke bombs, and you think we've done it. We're there. We're in the AFL. Hard work's been done. So to me that will stand out, and spending time coming back to Wrexham because it's a nice town, nice city, and being involved and I think the special moments, and football brings all that together.
I'm going to go a little left field, and it's going to be a non-footballing moment for me. It was obviously as a local business, we're always trying to sort of promote ourselves and sort of getting in with football. I've always tried to just make people sort of smile and stuff with the little chalkboards for outside. So it was probably triggering all the Sheffield fans, because every now and then we still get tweets off them, and it was just such a little. I always try and find a coffee angle for everything. So the next day after the Sheffield United game, I just put up on the board, not even our coffee's as bitter as Billy Sharp. But then nothing. But then 3 weeks later, I think like a fan group from Sheffield United picked it up, and we just got so much usual stuff that you get on Twitter. So it was good. So I think it was just trying to get them little interactions in with the board and making people laugh. But yeah, it's been quite an unforgettable season all around, really.
Well, you've got a cracking board out today as well, especially for us, which we need to remember to take a photo of before we go.
Yeah. 100%.
There's one last thing I'd like to say, which is that we were, in preparing for this, we put a lot of questions out to the Ask Wrexham community, the fans who listen to the broadcast, listen to this show as well, and we had the idea, because we were impressed with some of the things people were saying, that maybe we should have an Ask Wrexham Hall of Fame, or a DragonHeart Hall of Fame, and put somebody in each year who goes above and beyond. And so we would like you, Mike, to be the first person in our DragonHeart Hall of Fame, because firstly, it's genuinely your contributions, the way chipping into the commentaries and the way you do it is genuinely loved by our listeners.
Yeah.
It is something, I think, unusual that you don't tend to get in broadcasts. And secondly, because so many people using Ask Wrexham, and especially this week when I've asked about it, have mentioned you and said how helpful you are, and if people want to know things about the town, if they're not from here or whatever, that you're very quick to support them and give them that. So I think there's no question that he deserves to be our first member of the DragonHeart Hall of Fame. So well done, Mike. Congratulations. Well done. Brilliant. Nice one. Speech. No. No. Fair enough. Oh, I think it's probably getting close to time to go home.
Yes.
Let Phil actually lock up.
Yeah.
Again, sad that Neil wasn't able to come and join us, because he is the beating heart of DragonHeart. Absolutely.
Pig's giving birth somewhere or something.
Whenever a pig is giving birth, Neil Williams will be there. Fantastic. Good on. But this has been an absolute treat. First time we've done this, I reckon this feels like, with Phil's permission, and a regular thing. I reckon this has been an absolute treat. Absolutely is, isn't it? Yeah. And you're available for children's parties and bar mitzvahs as well, of course. I think that's any final words to say, or shall we just clear our phone?
I think we should just clear our phone.
I think we probably should. Well, that wraps up the season for DragonHeart, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We'll be back soonish, but come on, give us a break.
Yeah, we need a bit of a break, I think. And there's probably not going to be much to report about, and then all of a sudden there's going to be a billion things to report about.
Well, it is Rising Week this week, so...
I say that. Yeah, I say that. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows this club? Who really knows?
Exactly knows, yeah.
We might be back next week.
Yeah, back next week. Talk about Zlatan's arrival. His bus parade. No, but it's been a pleasure, hasn't it, to bring the season through the commentaries and DragonHeart and the podcast and everything.
What a way to finish.
Amazing, yeah, absolutely. Thanks you all for listening, and, well, this has been DragonHeart.